So there's lots of ways of loading a sheet film holder and managing the two sides of the dark slide so you know which is exposed and which is not exposed. There's already been a million debates about it. I'm just gonna add one more to the mix because I think this is the most simple way that I can think of. It's so simple that I believe any other photographer that were to pick up one of my film holders would immediately understand what's in it, and the status of the exposure or not exposure. So first off, I start with storing my slides, my dark slides and my holders separately. Well, they're together, but they're not inserted. This makes it super simple to know that there's no film in it. It's empty. So I don't have to worry about, am I gonna ruin an unexposed sheet of film? I'm not. So when I'm ready, I take my film holder and my dark slide. Usually I just do 2 at a time in my bag. That's plenty of shooting for me normally, but I do have a larger pile of them. I put everything in my dark bag and I load my film in. But before I go into the dark bag, I put my dark slides into the holders just a little bit. So they stay in place and I can still open up the flap to slide in my sheet of film. It makes it very simple. So once in the bag and I open this up and I slide in my film, I can then take this top slide, dark slide, and close it. Now I know that this side is done. I turn it over, I load my film into this side, and then I just close it. I don't have to fumble with trying to get it in because I pre-set them into the beginning there. It makes it super easy. So I close it, and then once I'm in there, when I'm done with this whole slider, I try to flip up the end just to make sure that it's closed fully, and I push on the end there. And then I do all of them, and then I take them out of the bag, and I have 1 or 2 or 4 or whatever of these laying on my desk. At this point, instead of using just these little pins at the end, which always seem to turn completely parallel and do nothing for me, I take a piece of painter's masking tape that doesn't have any real adhesive on it to gum up my dark slide or holder, and I put it along the long side of the thing, and on there with a Sharpie I write which film is loaded in there. And then on the other side I will do the same thing along the long side. It's always along the long side when it's unexposed. Very simple. And it just tells you what's in there. So then once they're labeled and ready to go, I put them inside a Ziploc bag, and then I put the Ziploc bag inside my camera bag. That helps me with making sure there's no dust, things like that. So I'm out in the field, I'm ready to take a picture. I get my focus going, and I take off this, when I'm ready to insert the dark slide, I take off the masking tape for that side, and then I stick it on my camera, just lightly. And then I put this in behind the ground glass, and then I pull out my dark slide. You can take it all the way out, and then I expose my shot. When I'm done, I put my dark slide back in with the white side out, and I know there's arguments about white and black, what's exposed and what's not. I could write exposed on my white side, which I couldn't write it on my dark side, so that's why I chose the white side, so I can write exposed on there. And so now I'm ready, and I peel the tape back off of my camera, and I attach it to the short side. So now I know this has been exposed and what film is in there, and I run no risk of sliding this dark slide out when I'm fumbling for my next slide holder, film holder in my bag. And then I'm ready for my next one, and of course I go through the same process. I peel the tape off, pull the slide out, expose the shot, and then I put it back in again with the exposed lettering showing, and then I affix my tape to the short side up here. Now I know that this particular holder has got 2 exposed sheets of film with FP4 Plus in them. And then I could take this and put it back into my Ziploc bag and put it back in the bag, and then move on to a next one, or go home and get ready to develop. When I get home to develop and I take this out, I take off my blue tape so that I don't get them stuck inside inside my dark bag against something I don't want them to be. And then I just go in there like normal, and I pull out my dark slides and take out my film and load it into my my tank and my holders. It's that simple, and I feel that there's no question about whether or not it's exposed or blank. There's many ways, other ways of doing this. To me, they were all, you had to remember it, and in this case, there's no memory involved because it says exposed. And so I hope that somebody else can take on this style and make that confusion a little less confusing and enjoy some sheet film photography. Thanks.